Welcome to another video. We'll be looking at the Outpost and Bunker environment by FreshCan. Normally goes for around $80, has a folder size of approximately 4.2 gigabytes. Opening the Bunker 01 map, you can see nice vegetations, a large landscape. You can see the buildings or the bunkers, smokes coming up. Nanite is not enabled by default. Defenses, barricades, and radar tower. Going inside the bunker, we can see like prison cell, radio room, or communication room. It's in some places it gets really dark. There's not enough light. Radar dome and towers. And these are like bunkers already pre-built or as prefabs. This kind of reminds me of cell or of jail cells. These are storages, and on this side that's also available. So yeah, because this pack is modular, you can actually make your own setup of bunkers or your own shape. This map I think is mostly to demonstrate, it's the same map but to demonstrate post-process. There are like a couple of post-processes that comes included. These are the bunker buildings. Like I said, these are nice starting points, so they're there to be used as prefabs. You can pack them into level instances. This one doesn't have doors. I don't know if they're supposed to have it, but still. So you can put stairs here to go up, and the nice thing is, since they're modular, you can go inside and enter it. Go into the overview level. These are the decals laid out in first in the front. These are the meshes. They're very good up close for most of them. Some of them do have wall aligned textures. I'm going to demonstrate that soon, but yeah, even up close they're pretty good. This is what I meant by wall aligned texture. Pipes, since it's a modular pack, ladders, gas canisters, so you can expect things you would find in a World War II bunker style or theme. Wires, they're not splines, unfortunately. These are the vegetations. I think they're very good. So yeah, different style doors and different structural buildings for the bunkers. One thing to notice is that the sites are, or in places like these, the sites are not modeled. However, the collisions do cover it. Gonna cover that in a bit. So yeah, you may see that this lighting only view mode and collision. You can see there are some details, but that's just how can I say, a false impression, an illusion, because when you change the decal material slot to another, then that disappears. So that's just an error. So the collision is really good. It uses complex for these structural buildings. I think it's probably because of the windows if you want to shoot through them, but they do have simple collision and they work well. The doors even have good collision. This one is complex because it's a whole building and not modular. So overall, good collisions. That one uses opacity mask. Looking at the folder structure, we get the camera shake folder, the decals, landscape, light function, maps, materials, meshes, particles, including to Niagara systems that are using flipbook textures. Post-process, procedural volume, sky, containing sky cubes, textures, water and wind related material. In the texture dimensions, 88 4K textures, 43 2K, 11 1K, 2512, and we got around 116 textures having alpha channel. It's like normal in RG, and then B has ambient occlusion and A has roughness. Back like this to reduce number of samplers, but doesn't affect the VRAM usage or size. Now, and for some of them use alpha for opacity, and others have displacement map in alpha channel, so there are no metallic maps. Yeah, no metallic maps for these. Looking at the meshes, the vertices are generally low. Most of them are below 10,000. There are just a couple of meshes like the towers. And there are LODs. Usually most of them have 4 LODs. There are some meshes, few meshes with extra unused UV channels, and a quite number of meshes with more than one material. Looking at the UVs, we can see that they're not packed well. That's also an illusion, because when you look at the ambient occlusion, it's being shared by other meshes, so texture could be shared by more than a mesh, and in like a couple of cases more than a couple of meshes. The UVs are not being reused for most of the parts. They're unique. That could have saved a bit of texture space there and here and there. The same goes for this one. This one, the UV packing as well, you can see it from this one with no or very minimal wasted space, and only on these towers on large meshes the UVs gets reused. As for this, it gets repeated or overlapped to like increase the textile density, and the world aligned part or like the masks allow it to blend well with the other modular parts. Looking at the master materials, got a couple of them. These 3 are the main, actually 4. There are material parameters. I'm gonna go through most of them. So starting with this one, we can change the tint. Basically, I think the color tint here means the brightness. You can change the contrast as well, the strength of the normal, the opacity if it's masked or translucent, the roughness strength. Yeah, I would say this roughness contrast, the specular contrast, the specular strength, and this one the color tint, the just called tint. Emissive, there are emissive if you can supply the emissive mask. Since there are no metallic maps, as a workaround, you can do it directly like this through parameter, but then you'll have to adjust the value, the contrast and the roughness strength to look correct. Now, not all parts are metallic, because some parts, like the ones with rust, do not are not metallic, are not considered metallic. So now for the meshes that are using the tiling master material, we also have the color tint, the contrast, like the other previous master material, normal strength. I think I should increase it more. It kind of gives it the correct view. That's how I think it's supposed to be. You can change the tiling, specular strength, roughness, and the tint. And there are damaged concrete. You can turn them on or off, as can be seen. Changing the size, the tiling, the tint, and the normal strength of it. Also got the white stains. and the basic parameters that are related to it. And then the next is leakage. This may not be that visible, but when I change the tiling or the size here, it is more visible. And then lastly, moss. These are nice additions, by the way, these parameters. Change the size of tiling, tint. So yeah, lots of customization. Blending height, transition. So the ones that are using the trim sheet master material, let's just find one. I think this one is good because it has also the translucent another material slot for the translucency. So yeah, these are just like the other previous one, similar. And for the glass or translucent master material, these are the settings. You can change the tint, opacity, normal strength, roughness, specular, basically all similar and pretty nice. By the way, you can also change the emissive like this, and there are masks for it. Change the emissive power and the color intensity. Very nice. So that should be it. I hope I've covered it well. Overall, this is a very nice modular pack. It has very good UV packing, very large landscape. And speaking of landscape, I actually forgot to check the foliage material, but let's not dive into that. Let's all forget about it for now. Getting back to the topic, the larger meshes do reuse the UV space, and some of them do that, like the bunker structural meshes, to increase the textile density. I wish more meshes would use that. It also includes trim sheets, world aligned textures. They're also used. Some mask textures are also provided for the emissive, like I showed. It has excellent material customization, one of the best that I've reviewed so far. It also works with lumen. I didn't notice light bleed, even though I put like a light source behind the wall and maxed its light intensity out. It didn't bleed, so that's good. And also decals are also there if you want to use them. The downsides that I've found would be like some meshes uses unused extra UV channels. The metallic, yeah, the metallic is 0.5 for all of the meshes. I think that's the default value. It should be 0 or 1 for most of them. Because it has the normal AO and roughness packed into one, there were no spaces for metallic maps. But like I showed you, you can do that. That's like a workaround, but doesn't cover like some parts. Even for a metal, some parts that have rust, the metallic should be 0 on that. It doesn't cover. That's the major downside I think I found with this pack. Although the look is still fine, there are couple of or many meshes that are sharing the same texture. The lighting on the inside of the bunkers can be dark on the showcase levels. Some meshes do have complex collision, although the samples also provided. My assumption is that these are set as complex, in which they have a window, or yeah, in case of windows, so that if there are shooter games that want to shoot through the window, it works. That's my assumption. But you can change it from simple or complex to simple if you don't have that, and save some performance there.